There we go. So, did you pick up a Perseus, mate? Ash Cube, here we go. Yes, I did pick up a Perseus. Now, if you didn't pick up a Perseus, you're a madman. We're going to go and talk about the Perseus right now in more detail. So, do stay with us, Ash Cube, all right? Let's discover the Perseus. If you're new to the IAE pages, this is what you would have seen today. Is the RSI day. Obviously, showcasing the new RSI Perseus. I am a huge fan of the Perseus. If you watched my older video on the 3.10 leaks when this was initially discovered, it truly was something that blew my mind. I can now say that although I'm disappointed in some aspects, mostly just in the size category, not for the first time, I am blown away in some other categories. I don't want to spoil it, because that comes up later on in the brochure, but there are parts about this ship that I did not expect, that I truly am excited about. And I think it's a really well-balanced ship. All right, 2 size 7 guns does sound great. My concern, which we'll go through later on, I'll just quickly mention now, is that I'm worried that size 7 guns won't actually be as damaging as we think. And I'll explain why in a short while. Let's just go through the actual RSI discovery page first. Legacy of Authority. Thanks to Fringe expansion and the ongoing Vandal War, security breaches and incidents at high traffic jump points. There you go. There's the hint, guys. I knew it. They're gonna bring out big ships next year. I know it for a fact because of jump points. They want big ships in to encourage players to have those all-out wars over jump points. That's just what I expect. That's what I want. I'm guessing it right now, okay? I see it coming. More common than ever. When considering a modern solution for civilian and paramilitary operations, we look to our past, to the historic Perseus gunship. Sadly, I don't remember seeing anything about the historic Perseus gunship in any lore posts recently. Capable of shredding sub-capital class Goliaths, the mere presence of Perseus in a blockade or patrol squad is enough to make your most aggressive enemies think twice before engaging, just like its vintage namesake. Obviously, Perseus being one of the Greek gods that took down Medusa, if you aren't familiar. Now, I'm not a historian. I just know that because I've watched other YouTube videos that said that. If it's wrong, don't blame me. I'm not at school. You should be at school. Remote turrets. We talked about those on the HoloViewer. Really, really cool, actually. This design apparently is the same as on the Ballista with a little radar dish on front. I like it. I think it's a really cool design for a turret, and I'm hoping that slave turrets come out sooner rather than later. There is a card currently on the roadmap for improved AI turret performance. So I'm hoping that we see that, especially with the Idris coming in 3.12 for an AI mission. I expect the AI within that Idris to try and shoot down incoming torpedoes. So I'm hoping that this, when it does launch, might have the ability to do it straight away. So as you can see, manual turrets, this means that your players or your friends or AI actually have to be inside the turret. The pilot does not have any control over turrets, guys. What the pilot does have control over, though, if I'm not mistaken, are the torpedoes. Now, this is one of the things I didn't expect from this ship on its launch. I had no idea it was going to come with torpedoes. I'm a huge fan of ships that aren't just single purpose. So although the size 7 guns are frankly enough to make this ship amazing, the addition of torpedoes, and whoever thought about, just why not throw in a few torpedoes? Fantastic. The torpedoes are the only chance the pilot has against some more aggressive ships that are coming at it. It's also the first thing the pilot can send, because it's size 5, which means that the target distance is about 17 kilometers. It's the first thing the pilot can fire at an enemy to distract them from the idea of a massive size 7 cannon shooting at them. It's a great distraction tactic. Hopefully in the future with more ordnance coming in, like maybe distortion torpedoes, electromagnetic torpedoes, things like that, we might actually see even more value coming from this ship and the torpedo bays in the future. Hopefully. Again, I'm not imagining too much, but I hope that is something that we see. They are size 5, so the same as the Gladiator. They're not size 7 or size 9. Size 9 is getting a rework, and I think all torpedoes will eventually get a nice rework to buff their damage. Hopefully, this is a really good... It's one of the main reasons why I'm not upset by the ship, even though it is a bit smaller than I would have liked. It does, however, also fit cargo. Why it has a cargo bay for an Ursa rover type size vehicle, I don't know. But again, it's another thing that is just there because it can be. If they decided to do something that made it just like the Freelancer, right? You can't get an Ursa rover in a Freelancer because of the gun, which is annoying. It's an oversight. But just because you can get it in doesn't mean they should have gotten rid of it because it wasn't intended. Leaving it in there for people to be able to use and access, exactly the sort of thing they should be doing. It encourages better gameplay choices. It encourages more fun. And frankly, I'm excited to just be able to land my big ass Perseus after blowing up some guy to maybe go and pick up some loot that he dropped on the floor, above atmosphere. I think it's cool. It makes sense to have something like this. They need to come out with more ground vehicles, though, for just like general exploration. The Ursa rover being the only one at the moment that's really useful. I want more variants of it. Maybe a cargo variant of the Ursa rover would be cool. Maybe just a pickup version of the Ursa rover for transporting people with more seats would be really cool as well. Definitely something we might see in the future. This is the breakdown of the actual internals. Now, I've not actually had a good look at these because on my screen, they're quite small. And also, I don't really care too much. I like exploring the internals when it actually comes to playing. So you've got lower turret access, docking collar, and cargo bay. It was weird, though, because they have a docking collar, I thought, on the other side, but maybe they don't. Interesting. Upper turret access, torpedo bay, crew quarters, mess hall, and a captain's quarters. So no med bay, unfortunately. It's slightly shorter and thinner than a hammerhead at 100 meters and 50 meters width. It is taller. Not by too much, but it is taller. Where's the brochure then? I want to go through this. All right, let's go read it. Project Perseus, Roberts Space Industries. The return, you can't see this very well. Let me just, whoop. There you go. No! Why would you do that to me? All right, the return. In 2946, Admiral Ernst Bishop led UEE naval forces in Operation Mandrake, successfully routing the Vandal from the Oberon system and securing a key tactical win for the Empire. Among the many unsung heroes of the operation was the crew of the UEES Achilles, an aging RSI PERSEUS gunship and relic of a bygone era. Though it was damaged beyond repair, the Achilles managed to down the Vandal destroyers. This impressive feat helped turn the battle in favor of the Empire and did not go unnoticed by Admiral Bishop, who personally lobbied RSI to start producing the Perseus model again for use against the Vandal. Now RSI is proud to present the civilian model Perseus gunship, capable of successfully engaging a broad spectrum of ship classes. The mere presence of a Perseus is enough to make the aggressive enemies think twice before engaging. Yes, we've read that before. That's pretty cool. That's some good history. The model of intimidation. I understand that. The idea of 4 size 7 guns, that is quite intimidating. I'm not going to lie. Has me shivering in my booties. Firepower. RSI shuttered its shrinking Perseus program in 28 to 60 due to elapsed naval interest. But thanks to the UEE's Achilles during daring performance in Oberon, the Perseus' full potential as a tactical gunship has been rediscovered in the modern day. Manual turrets. During early tours of duty, the Perseus' primarily role was a combat deterrent. The crew of the UPS Arash, known colloquially as the Soothsayers. Why have they got to write? Why do they write like this? I can't read half these words if they write in this sort of format. I can't make heads or tails of this bollocks. War badges famously emblazoned with a hooded, faceless wraith clutching a crystal ball. The ominous slogan, "Never a shot fired, never a battle lost," was written below it. While the accuracy of that now iconic slogan has been challenged by historians, the fact remains that the Perseus gunship patrolling the Perry line were deployed to minimize active engagement rather than provoke it. Yeah, because a big-ass scary ship with 4 size 7 guns is going to stop me from thinking about shooting people as well. All right, we know all this stuff. Come on. Where's the fun stuff? Where's the fun brochure stuff? Is there anything fun inside this ship? Torpedo Bay, a military-style launch bay, provides heavy ordnance platforms proven to keep aggressors on their toes while keeping your crew safe. Cargo Bay. The spacious... Oh, 50 SCU of cargo. That's not a lot. 50 SCU is not big. I think the Hammerhead has more cargo space than that. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I think the Hammerhead has more SCU than that. Sports enough room for all manner of freight and rover-sized wheeled vehicles. Crew quarters. Comfortable accommodation for up to 5 human crew members unless you take a long mission without batting an eyelid. I'm hoping this ship has crew quarters a bit like the Retaliator, where it's very useful, very submarine, realistic, sort of I'm doing a space mission kind of crew quarters. I'm a big fan of the Retaliator crew quarters. I think it's really cool. It reminds me of like things I've seen in movies. Captain's quarters, private habitation for your commanding officer, provides the ultimate sanctuary for long journeys on the drift. Interesting. I'm interested to see what they do. Looks like they've got a pool table. Crew quarters is there upstairs. It could be quite nice. The mess hall, a military-style gallery, keeps your crew well-nourished and motivated. Plus, it can act as a common space for rest and recreation. Well, that's the whole point of a mess hall. No offense, Sig. Specifications then. Let's have a little look. So, life support. 1 large life support. 2 large shield generators. Interesting. This ship has got less shields than a Reclaimer. What do you think of that, chat? You think that's interesting? Reclaimer has 3 size 3 shields, or large shields. This only has 2. I think that's quite interesting. Don't you? Only 2 size 3 shields on a combat-based vehicle? It has the identical components as the Hammerhead. Does it? Interesting. That is interesting. But then again, that's the thing. I'm not quite sure because I find that weird. The Reclaimer's big. Reclaimer's big. All right, then. So 2 large power plants, 1 large jump drive, 1 large quantum drive, and 1 large quantum fuel tank. 2 main engines with 2 VTOL. That's nice. Thrusters, 12 fixed. Interesting. 12 fixed thrusters. That's interesting. Because maneuvering thrusters, right, if they're fixed, usually provide better moving capabilities. So if it's true that the moving thrusters are fixed, this might actually be a bit more agile than we once thought. It might be able to twist and turn quite quickly, which would make sense if you're trying to line up that big gun along with the ship. You want to be able to twist and turn quickly. That would be interesting. Turrets, 2 manned twin size 7 weapons, 2 auto size 3, 2 size 5 torpedo bays, 10 torpedoes each, so 20 size 5 torpedoes. And that's the end of the brochure. Fair enough. And this is the price. £576 for the exclusive VIP Perseus. 648 if that's standalone, not war bond. Crikey heck. You can get an ambush pack though, right? What comes in the ambush packs? We have a look. More info, please. What's in the ambush pack? So, 2 arrows. Why would you want 2? Why? What? Why would you want 2 arrows? That's a bit... What are you trying to... I genuinely think Sigurd's trying to print money at this point. I think the government should investigate them. Jesus. Fair enough then. Really cool photos. I might download a few of these to my wallpapers. I'm a big fan of this photo. That's quite a cool one. This is the bespoke ammunition if you've not seen it. This is why I know the guns can't be changed out, because this is meant for those cannons, and if they have those in, there's no way they're going to let you change it because they don't physicalize ammo. It does also give us a hint that the guns are bearing though, so that's pretty cool. And there we've got it destroying a hammerhead. All right, now before we end this segment, oh look, there's a docking collar. Before we end this segment, I wanted to talk about the point I brought up earlier. So I did mention to you guys that I think that the size 7 guns might not be as powerful as we all hope. Now, it sounds silly. Can we still buy IAE ships during the weapons and armor days? Yeah, I believe so, Shafty. So one of the things I'm concerned about when it comes to size 7 ships, size 7 guns and capital class ships, is the way that SIG have intended to balance the game. There is a really, really interesting photograph on another size 7 ship page. Let me go and find it for you. It's going to be made by Crusader, the Ares. Is it going to let us see this photograph? Maybe not. All right. Tell you what, though. If we have a look at... There you go. If we have a look at this photograph, right? So this in the photo right now is an Aegis Idris. A very common ship throughout the UEE and a very common ship throughout the verse for its tactical aggression and defense strategy implementation. It's used by pirates and military alike. That is why the Ares exists, designed specifically to take things like this out if the Idris is in the wrong hands. What you see here, though, in this photograph is 3, 4, maybe even more Ares taking on one Idris. Each Ares having a size 7 gun. So, this photograph, if you replace it with one Perseus, is the exact same damage potential. And the Idris looks like it's doing pretty fine. The Idris does not look bothered at all. Now, as Capito said, the Perseus is a sub-capital killer. It is indeed a sub-capital class killer, but you've got to think about it like this. The size 7 guns are designed on the Ares to take out capital class ships, so why aren't they designed like that on the Perseus? Frankly, I think that the size 7 guns will not perform like we think they will. I think they'll easily kill large ships like Vanguards and almost, instant kills. Hammerheads, though, I genuinely think Hammerheads are going to be able to survive a decent length gunfight against things like a Perseus. I don't think it's going to be boom, 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 dead. I think it's going to be a good solid 2 or 3 minutes of combat before a Hammerhead goes down, meaning that I think if you're going to actually fight an Idris with size 7 guns, it's going to take a while. And that's why I think you need 5 or 6 Ares just to even damage one. You can see they're targeting the engines here, not the main hull. I think that's another sort of interesting design decision. Obviously, it's good for theatrics, but I think it also demonstrates the use of these size 7 guns for more of a tactical advantage. If you can destroy the components of a size 7 ship, because you might not actually be able to kill a size 7 ship with your a capital ship with your size 7 guns, but if you can damage the engines, maybe take out a shield generator, then maybe you can leave that bigger space open for someone like another Idris to come in finally and fire that big railgun without the shields getting in the way. Or, of course, board it. I'm a big fan of boarding ships and taking them out from the inside. But that's just a little something I wanted to mention to you guys. I do think that the size 7 guns on the Perseus, although super exciting, might not be as big and scary as we imagine them being. I clearly, as you can see in that video here, they're quite slow firing, but I do think that they're going to hurt. I think that if you bring a Perseus to a normal combat event, like the Detox org events on Sundays, hint, hint, that's today, or other days, actually, not today, it's the 6th. This is your warning, guys. I think if bringing one of these to an op like that when you're fighting other ships, it's going to sound like a fantastic idea because you'll be able to one-shot some smaller fighters. But remember, the turrets are going to spin super slowly, and those small fighters are going to be able to get behind you and take out your engines and just destroy you. I don't know what SIG's balance idea is for ships like this. I am concerned that without true meaningful damage coming from these size 7 guns, we aren't going to see that much use out of it, except for sniping. I don't mean sniping like, oh, stream sniping. I mean sniping as in knowing where someone is, bringing your ship to snipe them because they're in a hammerhead or a large vessel, and getting that damage dealt from a long way away before they can engage you. I'm just concerned that in the future, unless SIG properly make these big size guns scary, we're going to see the game get to a point where it is just, I want to say raining hellfire all the time, constant ballistic gatlings, lots of repeaters, and no actual use of cannons. I personally am a big fan of cannons. If you watch my live streams, if you continue watching today, you'll see that the guns I use mostly on my ships are cannons because I like the feeling of the big oomphy weapons. If you watch The Mandalorian, for example, you'll know that the ship the Mandalorian flies has two big size cannons on the side rather than repeaters. So when someone comes and attacks him and he just flips around and shoots them with one shot of the cannon, it deals a shitload of damage. I want that sort of thing in Star Citizen, where if I get this huge cannon that takes ages to aim bang on target, I want it to hurt. I want you to die pretty much instantly. It sounds a bit broken, it sounds a bit OP and a bit unfair, but let's say it doesn't kill you instantly. Let's say if I'm against a Vanguard and I shoot one of these size 7 turrets, I want to shoot off those wings in one shot. Right? If a Vanguard's flying at me, try and take out my engines, and I'm here, and I want to line up a perfect shot whilst he's flying by, I want him to go, you know, down into the planet below, blow up. And that's what I expect. That's what I want. Is it what I expect, though? No. I expect the guns to be understated and to require a lot more repeated fire, unfortunately. Well, we will have to see what SIG do. I think their intention is to just stop, because at the moment we have, what, size 1 to size 5 and a bit of size 6. Just like torpedoes, I think after size 6, they're going to make them more bespoke. I don't know if they have any intention of bringing in optional changes to these guns, because again, the Ares, you have 2 different ships for 2 different gun types, a laser variant, the Inferno, and the ballistic variant. Now, it's weird that they've done that, but they've now also done it again with the Perseus. So, like I said, I think that SIG's design styles for the future are just like torpedoes. After a certain size point, it's going to become bespoke. It's going to become about how much damage does this one weapon do, and I think it's going to be a bit about balance, all right? Because if they design lots of different guns, even all the way up to size 10 or whatever, they might end up having a problem in terms of balance. I would prefer to have choice, and where I would prefer to be able to change the sort of guns that I have. I would like to put a laser repeater on this ship instead, or a size 7 scattergun, or something ridiculous, you know, or a distortion weapon. I would prefer that ability to shoot. Imagine size 7 distortion cannons. What if you just used this ship as a massive, like, ginormous disruptor, just firing massive distortion bolts at ships to stop them from being able to move? That is something that could be done. But if SIG decide to go with this balance is the ultimate cause design philosophy, then we'll probably see a more large ships like the Perseus, and in the future even larger ones have more bespoke weapons. But looking back at the Idris, right? The Idris has size 6 turrets. Size 6 guns are the max size that we have the choices over, with a bespoke size 10 cannon underneath the nose. So I think that's the way that SIG are currently designing ships. Not my preferred method, but we will have to see. At the moment, I think I'm just speculating far too much. So for YouTube and for the guys over watching me here on Twitch, I think we'll end this segment on the RSI Perseus. Thank you so much for watching. If you are watching this on YouTube, thank you very much for hanging out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Now, usually we stream every day, so if you want to come catch me live, you can do that. Hopefully we'll be streaming right now if this video goes up on time, which might be a few days after it's on stream because of affiliate contracts. But I'll see you guys shortly, all right? Twitch, let's continue having some fun, shall we? And YouTube, thank you very much for your support, and I'll see you guys next time.